Hi everyone, this is Jed Shlackman, and in this video I'll be speaking about the power of belief. Belief is something that has an incredibly great influence upon our lives. We believe things and we make choices and take actions based upon those beliefs. So just about anything that you're doing or placing your attention on in your life would likely involve some aspect of belief. When people think of beliefs, they often think of belief systems, so major concepts or ideas or paradigms that play a significant role in human civilization. So I'll be talking a little bit about that now and how critical it is for us to really closely examine our own beliefs as well as the beliefs of others, and to have a really deep desire to get to the bottom of things, to really understand whatever topic we're forming some opinion about. In ancient and medieval eras, society was often powerfully influenced by religious beliefs and a fear of evil spiritual forces that, from their perspective or point of view, could harm the community. So that was a common type of belief system in some of those early eras of civilization. People in the biblical era were at times stoned to death for things that today in our modern society most people might view as harmless. During the Catholic Inquisition, people were imprisoned or killed if they didn't profess faith in the Catholic doctrine, or if they were accused of engaging in some form of alternative spiritual practices. The perceived evil present in an individual was considered to be a threat of evil befalling the community, and the solution from their point of view to protect the community was to somehow isolate or eliminate the threat. So you might look at some of the things that were done to people and think of it kind of like a hate crime, like they had some great hate or antagonism toward a purpose, but really at the core of things there's fear. So the person who has some ideas or practices that you perceive as wrong or evil, you feel threatened by that. You feel that in some way it will contaminate your community and cause harm. And since you want to protect your community, you take some type of action against the person or group that you perceive as a threat. This mindset has continued throughout history. We could think of the Salem witch trials as another example. And this mindset persists in some areas of the world in the present day, where people are accosted by their community because they are perceived to be a source of some spiritual evil. For example, in some areas of the Middle East and Africa, people continue to be assaulted or killed because their sexual orientation is seen as evil and threatening. In examining this phenomena, I would like to suggest that we consider that within the belief systems held in those cultures, they would feel fully justified in their oppressive actions and see those actions as the logical way to protect the community from evil. Simultaneously, those belief systems tend to be dogmatic and intolerant of any challenge or critique. From those perspectives, if you disagreed, you were a heretic, and you would be seen as potentially infesting the society with your evil or dangerous ways or ideas. So dissent and debate were not allowed. Again, the rationale would be to protect the community and maintain safety. With religious belief systems, people typically accept that the source of the belief is infallible. Once that assumption is made, then everything else is kind of set in motion. If you start out with the idea that the beliefs are infallible, that they come from the source of all existence, then how is anyone going to be able to have a discussion or argument with you? While those types of religious or cult-oriented beliefs have some influence in modern times, we also have newer belief systems that use some form of scientific data or consensus as their basis. Science contrasts itself with religion since it is presented as a process of empirically testing hypotheses and observing and measuring things in our world to gain a better understanding of things and come to accurate conclusions. However, every aspect of that process includes elements of fallibility. We can't observe and control all the variables that can play a role in the phenomena that we observe. Human beings are designing studies and collecting and reporting data, and can make errors or apply biases in that process. We would be foolish to assume that scientific theories or concepts are infallible, and thus science in theory encourages ongoing investigation and debate and openness to changing our beliefs as our access to measurements, data, and more refined hypotheses or new information arise. If we shut out dissent and discussion on scientific matters, then we are actually reverting to a religious rather than a scientific mindset. Also, when people embrace certain science-based belief systems, that belief system may also require them to see those who disagree as dangerous and threatening and requiring some form of isolation or persecution. A pair of examples in our current era are the vaccine issue and the anthropogenic climate change topic. Those who believe that vaccines are harmless and are essential to community health often seek to impose that belief on others and take punitive action against heretics, and they believe they are protecting the community by doing so. Those who believe that certain human activities are a major or primary cause of climate change and of harmful effects that they expect to experience from climate change would be inclined to impose those beliefs on society, which could include restrictions on human industries and even on something such as human consumption of meat or animal products. They would believe they are protecting the planet and human society by restricting or punishing others who fail to share their beliefs. You can consider what some people have proposed as measures to suppress what they call climate deniers or anti-vaxxers. With any belief system, we might potentially discover that we have been incorrect or inaccurate in our beliefs. Considering the implications of our actions driven by our belief systems, we have the task of leaving no stone unturned in gaining a thorough understanding of any topic, so that in our desire to protect ourselves and our communities, we don't end up harming ourselves or our communities. An unwavering commitment to truth and to examining all the assumptions that may underlie any belief and the courses of action driven by those beliefs are things we can consider. We like to have certainty, to believe in our own righteousness, and to feel that we are acting in some benevolent or humanitarian manner. But when our beliefs are actually faulty, we can end up doing the opposite. everyone has at least some beliefs that they are reluctant to question, re-examine, or reconsider. Some of those may be relatively inconsequential, but others might have very consequential implications. Whether our actions turn out to be helpful or harmful depends on the accuracy of our beliefs. Positive intentions can't automatically prevent destructive actions fueled by faulty beliefs or inaccurate or incomplete information. It's not unusual for things that we are unaware of to lead to undesirable outcomes. For example, if you are a physician giving a patient a supplement or medication, your intention is to help them regain health. But if the product you give them is faulty, such as having been contaminated or mislabeled, then they could end up harmed even though that wasn't your intention. You would do your best to get the products from trustworthy, proven sources to avoid that potential for harm, but ultimately that potential is always there. Rather than judging or condemning ourselves or others, we can accept the imperfections of life and recognize that there is much in life that is beyond our personal control, even if we make a concerted effort to control things. So we have many different beliefs that are driving our actions and behaviors in life, and inevitably we're going to discover in some areas that our beliefs were incorrect or faulty in some way. If we look at the sciences, we could see that a great many things that are looked upon now as scientific fact, so to speak, or whatever the consensus might be in our current era, are substantially different than what science looked upon as true or accurate in the past. Even within a decade or two, there can be significant shifts or transformations in how we are viewing or understanding reality. So inevitably, many of the things that we consider to be true and that we use as the basis for our choices, our decisions, our policies, and responses to life will become outdated. So change is inevitable. With that in mind, I encourage each of you to not be too rigid in the way you think about anything, to be open to the possibility that there's more information or alternative information that you're not currently aware of that would lead you to change your beliefs or understanding of things. There are actually many cases in our civilization where information has been intentionally quarantined or restricted in some way, kept hidden from the public in order to exploit people by keeping them stuck in some type of limiting or inaccurate belief system that serves some existing power structure. So if we realize that we've been misinformed about many topics our whole life, then we have the opportunity to start re-examining things, to be more diligent about researching or exploring a particular subject. Let's not be too arrogant or self-righteous in what we think we believe and what we think others should believe and practice or apply based upon that belief. Sometimes we'll discover that people that we thought were incorrect actually turn out to be the ones who had the more accurate understanding. They may have had access to information or experiences that we didn't have access to, and that's how they were able to develop a more informed or better informed understanding of something. So be open to gaining more experience, to collecting and accumulating more information, and you may find your perceptions or your perspective changing, and along with that, your belief systems. I hope that this discussion of belief systems has given you some things to ponder. I hope that it has led some people to kind of stop and pause and to see the ways in which they may be seeking to impose their beliefs on everyone else, thinking that they're doing so for the benefit of the community, when there's a potential that they could actually be incorrect in their own belief, and therefore actually fostering some form of harm by trying to impose that belief. This is a challenging topic. It's not very easy for any of us to acknowledge that A, we've been incorrect or mistaken about something, and B, that we've actually tried to push that mistaken idea on others, and that it's actually caused some unpleasant consequences. That's not something that we seek out acknowledging. It's not something that really feels good or pleasant to face or confront. But if it is the reality and we fail to confront it, then we'll just continue to be stuck in a dysfunctional belief, and will continue to create more unpleasant consequences. For those of you that are interested in holistic health and spirituality and personal development, I invite you to view my YouTube channel to see some more videos. And you can also visit my website, which is phinsights.com. That's phinsights.com. For now, I would like to wish everyone a wonderful day. Namaste.